The sterile white laboratory hummed with quiet intensity, fluorescent lights casting a pale glow over rows of mysterious artifacts. Una Park's fingers danced across holographic screens, her dark hair pulled back in a messy ponytail that spoke of hours of intense concentration. She was different from other researchers, more curious, more restless, always hunting for that unexpected breakthrough. The artifact looked unremarkable, a metallic cylinder about the size of her palm, covered in microscopic etchings that seemed to shimmer and change when viewed from different angles. Researchers before her had dismissed it as nothing special, but Una felt something different. Her intuition, that inexplicable spark that made her exceptional, told her this wasn't just another space relic. A cup of cooling coffee sat beside her, forgotten. Her research team had gone home hours ago, leaving her alone in the massive Institute of Galactic Studies. Outside the reinforced windows, the city of New Seoul glittered with holographic advertisements and sleek transportation tubes weaving between towering structures. When her fingertip accidentally traced a specific sequence of markings, nothing seemed to happen. Then a low vibration started, so subtle at first that Una wondered if she'd imagined it. The artifact began to emit a soft blue light, pulsing like a heartbeat. Suddenly, the air in front of her began to ripple and distort. Quantum displacement, technology, teleportation. Una's scientific mind raced with possibilities. The space before her twisted, creating a swirling vortex of energy that crackling with an electric blue intensity. A figure materialized, tall, definitely not human. But not monstrous either. Dae Kim, the alien investigator, stood perfectly still, his skin a complex pattern of silver and deep midnight blue, with eyes that seemed to contain entire galaxies. He wore what appeared to be a form-fitting tactical suit, embedded with technology far beyond human understanding. "You should not have activated the beacon," he said, his voice a perfect translation through some advanced communication implant. No accent, no hesitation, pure information. Una didn't step back. She didn't gasp or show fear. Instead, she raised an eyebrow and replied, "Interesting way to introduce yourself to someone who just accidentally summoned you across potentially thousands of light years." The alien's expression, if it could be called that, shifted. Surprise, confusion. It was hard to read a face so fundamentally different from human anatomy. Surrounding them, laboratory equipment began to respond to the quantum energy. Holographic. Displays flickered. Sensitive monitoring systems started recording data points that would take years to fully analyze. A robotic research assistant in the corner tilted its head, optical sensors scanning the unexpected visitor. "This facility is not prepared for my presence," Dae stated matter-of-factly. "The quantum resonance of my arrival will attract attention, potentially dangerous attention." Una's mind was already several steps ahead. A breakthrough, first contact, potential galactic implications, and something told her this was more than a random encounter. The artifact continued pulsing, its light now casting complex geometric shadows across the laboratory walls. Outside, the first hints of dawn began to paint the sky. Unaware of the extraordinary moment unfolding inside this seemingly ordinary research center. "We have approximately 47 minutes, Dae continued, before external monitoring systems track this quantum event. What is your primary investigative protocol?" Una couldn't help but smile. First contact, and instead of diplomatic speeches or dramatic revelations, they were discussing investigative protocols. Just another day in humanity's journey into the cosmic unknown. End of Part 1. Transmission complete. The underground research facility buzzed with controlled chaos. Monitors flickered with star charts, communication logs, and complex holographic data streams. Una and Dae stood side by side, an unlikely pair united by a common goal, unraveling a criminal network that threatened multiple star systems. The he. "Communication patterns are encrypted," Dae explained, his fingers sliding across a holographic interface that seemed to respond to his mere thoughts. "Traditional decryption methods will take decades." Una leaned closer, her eyes catching a subtle pattern most would miss. "Not if we approach it differently," she muttered, pulling up a series of seemingly random data points. Her fingers moved with a musician's precision, connecting fragments that looked disconnected to anyone else. A massive holographic map of the galaxy erupted between them. Tiny points of light began to pulse and connect, forming intricate webs of communication. Each connection represented a piece of an enormous puzzle. Illegal technology transfers, black market trade routes, hidden communication channels. The research facility was a marvel of human engineering, nestled deep beneath the mountain ranges of New Korea, protected by quantum shielding and advanced neural network security systems. Robotic assistants moved silently around them, processing data at speeds that would have been impossible just a decade earlier. "How did you discover this network?" Day asked, genuine curiosity breaking through his typically neutral demeanor. Una grinned. "Sometimes the most complex problems require the most simple approach. Humans have something your advanced computational systems lack: intuition." A holographic projection of a massive spacecraft materialized between them. It wasn't a military vessel or a traditional exploration ship. This was something different, a hybrid design that suggested illegal modifications and advanced technological integration. "The Nexus Syndicate," Day explained, his voice dropping to a whisper. "They've been moving illegal xenotechnology across at least 17 star systems. Our previous investigations always hit dead ends." Una's fingers danced across the holographic display. Pieces of information began to align: trade routes, communication timestamps, quantum energy signatures. What looked like random data to most researchers was becoming a clear map of illegal operations. Suddenly, a warning alarm erupted. Red emergency lights began to pulse. The robotic assistants shifted into defensive positions, quantum shields activating across the facility. "We've been detected," Day said, his body already moving with practiced efficiency. A holographic communication channel opened. A distorted voice spoke in multiple frequencies, a clear sign of advanced communication technology. "Investigation team identified. Neutralization protocols activated." Una didn't hesitate. "Not today," she muttered, her fingers already implementing a complex counter-tracking algorithm she'd been developing for months. The facility around them transformed. What seemed like a research center moments ago now revealed hidden defensive capabilities. Quantum energy weapons emerged from concealed panels. Advanced tracking systems began scanning multiple dimensional frequencies. Dai looked at Una with something close to respect. "Impressive defensive infrastructure," he noted. "Humans always prepare for unexpected situations," she replied, a hint of pride in her voice. The next few moments would determine whether they could continue their investigation or would be stopped, before uncovering the full extent of the Nexus Syndicate's operations. Their partnership, born of accident and necessity, was about to be tested in ways neither could have predicted. End of Part 2. Transmission complete. The research vessel drifted silently through the asteroid field, its quantum camouflage rendering it invisible to standard tracking systems. Inside the compact command center, Una and Day worked with an intensity that bordered on obsession. Holographic displays surrounded them, a complex web of data points, communication fragments, and quantum energy signatures. Outside the reinforced windows, massive asteroid formations created a natural barrier against potential pursuit. "Look at this," Una said, her finger tracing a seemingly random pattern of quantum frequencies. "These communication bursts aren't random. They're a language." Day's multi-dimensional eyes narrowed. The alien's ability to process information was legendary, but Una's human intuition was proving to be something entirely different. Where computational systems saw noise, she saw patterns. A robotic assistant rolled closer, its advanced neural network processing the data in microseconds. Suddenly, the entire holographic display shifted. What had looked like random interference transformed into a precise communication network. "The Nexus Syndicate uses quantum entanglement for communication," Day explained. Traditional tracking methods become useless. Yuna's mind was racing. She pulled up a series of mathematical algorithms she'd been developing, a hybrid approach that combined human creativity with advanced computational analysis. Lines of code began to dance across the display, creating a complex decryption matrix. Warning. Lights erupted across the ship's control panel. Something was approaching fast. Incoming vessel, the ship's AI announced in a calm voice. Quantum signature matches known Nexus Syndicate attack configuration. Day's body tensed. His species was known for their combat capabilities. But this was different. This was about outsmarting an enemy, not just overpowering them. The asteroid field around them became a battlefield of quantum energy. Massive communication disruptors emerged from hidden asteroid caverns. The research vessel's defensive systems activated, quantum shields shimmering like liquid metal. "They're trying to block our investigation," Yuna muttered, her fingers moving with incredible speed across the control interface. A massive holographic projection showed the incoming vessel, a nightmare of technological adaptation. Hybrid engines, quantum weapons systems, biological integration that blurred the line between technology and living organism. "Prepare for quantum-level engagement," Day announced, but Yuna was already 3 steps ahead. She'd discovered something in the communication patterns, a fundamental weakness in the Nexus Syndicate's quantum communication network. The incoming vessel fired first, quantum energy weapons that could slice through standard starship defenses, like paper. But Yuna had prepared something special. Her decryption algorithm wasn't just breaking their communication, it was redirecting it. The asteroid field became a dance of quantum energy. The Nexus vessel's own communication systems turned against it. Targeting systems went haywire. Quantum shields collapsed from internal interference. "Breakthrough," Yuna whispered. Dai looked at her with something close to amazement. Humans were supposed to be primitive, limited, but this researcher was rewriting the rules of galactic investigation. The Nexus vessel began to drift, its systems completely compromised. Not destroyed, not defeated through violence, defeated through pure intellectual strategy. "We've found their weakness," Day said, a rare hint of emotion in his voice. Outside, the asteroid field seemed to breathe with quantum energy. Another layer of the massive criminal network had been exposed, but this was just the beginning. End of Part 3. Transmission complete. The recovery facility floated in deep space, a massive medical research station designed to handle complex interspecies treatments. Soft blue healing lights pulsed through transparent corridors, creating an atmosphere of calm after their intense battle with the Nexus Syndicate. Yuna sat quietly, her body recovering from the quantum energy exposure during their recent mission. Medical nanobots moved beneath her skin, repairing cellular damage that would have killed an ordinary human. Beside her, Day's own healing process looked entirely different, his body generating complex energy fields that shimmered like liquid crystal. "Your biological adaptation is extraordinary," Day observed, watching the nanobots work. Most species would have been completely incapacitated by the quantum energy discharge. Yuna chuckled weakly. "Humans are surprisingly resilient. We adapt. We survive." The medical station hummed with advanced technology. Robotic medical assistants moved silently, monitoring multiple patients from different star systems. Through massive observation windows, distant nebulae created stunning visual backdrops of purple and electric blue. Something was changing between them. The professional distance they'd maintained was slowly dissolving. Their shared experience had created a connection that transcended traditional interspecies boundaries. Day approached her bed, his movement unlike any human motion, fluid, precise, almost like liquid metal moving with deliberate intention. He held a holographic datapad containing their recent investigation results. "We've uncovered approximately 63% of the Nexus Syndicate's communication network," he explained. "Your methodology has revolutionized our investigative approach." Yuna noticed something different in his tone. Emotion. Something his species supposedly didn't experience in the same way humans did. Respect. Perhaps something deeper. A massive holographic display activated, showing their complete investigation. Timeline. Quantum communication patterns, hidden trade routes, technological transfer networks, all mapped out with incredible precision. Suddenly, station alarms erupted. Red warning lights began to pulse. Quantum disruption detected. The station's AI announced, unknown energy signature approaching. Day's body instantly transformed. What seemed like a humanoid form became a complex adaptive armor. Technology and biological response merged into a single defensive mechanism. Quantum weapons emerged from his body's molecular structure. Yuna was already analyzing the incoming energy signature. Her fingers moved across holographic interfaces, breaking down complex quantum frequencies faster than the station's primary computational systems. "It's a communication packet," she announced, "encrypted using a method we've never seen before." The station around them began to react. Quantum shields activated, robotic defense systems prepared for potential conflict. But this wasn't a traditional attack. This was information. Pure, complex, potentially revolutionary information. Dai looked at Yuna. In that moment, something profound happened. Their individual strengths, her human intuition, his computational precision, merged into something entirely new. "Together," he said, a word that carried more meaning than a simple instruction. The communication packet began to unfold. Layers of encrypted data revealed themselves, showing connections they hadn't previously understood. The Nexus Syndicate was more than a criminal network. It was a complex living system. Outside the observation window, distant stars seemed to pulse in sync with their discovery. Their partnership had become something more than a professional collaboration, something deeper, something that could potentially change the understanding of cooperation across different species. The universe watched, waiting. End of Part 4. Transmission complete. The Galactic Council chamber stretched impossibly wide, a massive, crystalline structure that seemed to defy traditional architectural principles. Holographic representations of dozens of alien civilizations surrounded the central platform where Yuna and Day stood. Representatives from over 217 star systems watched in absolute silence. Yuna's presentation wasn't just a report, it was a revolutionary breakdown of the Nexus Syndicate's entire operation. Complex holographic projections demonstrated how human intuition and adaptive thinking had succeeded where centuries of computational analysis had failed. "The network isn't just a criminal organization," she explained, her voice calm and precise. "It's a living adaptive system that exploits technological vulnerabilities across multiple dimensional frequencies." Day stood beside her, no longer just an alien investigator, but a partner. His presence alone challenged everything the Galactic Council understood about interspecies collaboration. Robotic translation systems worked overtime, converting her words into hundreds of communication protocols. Quantum energy fields flickered around the chamber, representing the immense technological complexity of the moment. A quantum elder from the Ziran Collective spoke first. Their biological form resembled a complex network of luminescent tendrils, communication happening through subtle energy fluctuations. "Explain your methodology," the entity requested. Yuna smiled. This was her moment. The holographic display erupted with a three-dimensional representation of their investigation. Quantum communication paths, hidden technological transfer networks, and complex biological adaptation strategies transformed the chamber into a living, breathing information landscape. What made humans unique wasn't raw computational power. It was adaptability, creativity, the ability to see connections where others saw only chaos. Suddenly, multiple alarm systems activated simultaneously. Something was approaching the council chamber. Fast, quantum shields began to pulse. Defensive systems from multiple civilizations prepared for potential conflict. But Yuna was already analyzing the incoming energy signature. "Incoming quantum communication," she announced. "Nexus Syndicate's final transmission." The chamber went absolutely silent. Day's body shifted, quantum defensive protocols activating. But Yuna's hand on his arm stopped him. She saw something in The transmission that others missed, the communication wasn't an attack, it was a surrender. Complex layers of encrypted data began to unfold. The Nexus Syndicate was revealing its entire operational network, not through force but through a calculated strategic decision. "They recognize our investigative capabilities," Day whispered. Surrounding alien representatives watched in absolute amazement. Humans had done what no other civilization had managed, completely dismantling a multidimensional criminal network without firing a single weapon. The Galactic Council's quantum records would mark this moment as a turning point in interstellar relations. Yuna's final presentation slide contained a simple message: cooperation transcends biology. Robotic assistants began processing the massive data transfer. Quantum energy fields danced around the chamber, representing the complex information exchange. Humanity is now recognized as a primary investigative species, the Ziran Collective announced. Outside the chamber, massive starships representing different civilizations began to reconfigure their communication networks. The entire galactic communication infrastructure was being redefined. Day looked at Yuna. What had started as an accidental encounter in a research laboratory had transformed into something that would change galactic history. Their partnership represented more than a successful investigation. It represented the future of interstellar cooperation. The universe had just witnessed humanity's extraordinary potential. End of Part 5. Transmission complete.